All right, so in this session we're going to go through what customers actually mean when they say you're too expensive and what to do about it. And how this came about was I was working with a group of business owners, and the question I asked was, what's the number one objection that comes up when you're selling your products or services? And unanimously it was price. It was price objections, and they expanded on the fact that it was due to the economic climate and the conditions and interest rates and everything else that's going on, the European crisis, you name it, they brought it up as a reason for people bringing up the use of "you're too expensive." And as I'm going to show you, there is an element of that, so I'm not invalidating that as a real reason. But what I've gone to work on is distinguishing what customers actually mean when they say you're too expensive. I've come up with 5 specific meanings or actual reasons why they use that as an objection rather than as the truth. Okay? So before we do that though, I'm just going to do a very quick recap of our sales success formula. So as I mentioned this morning, our sales success formula is based on a leverage system. Okay? Designed specifically with adding weight to one side will in turn vary the opposite side. Okay, so on this side we've got the weight of our equation, which is R plus C plus M plus V. So just to recap, R is relationship, so your ability to be able to build those strong quality relationships, the ability to be able to build trust. C is credibility. Okay, how much credibility do you have as a sales professional, as a business owner, and as a brand? And is that credibility consistent in all of your communications, whether it be in sales and as well as in your marketing communications? Now, I've grouped those two together, as you can remember from this morning, that without relationship and credibility, there's no real point in moving forward. Okay, if you can remember back in grade 10 maths, we talked about doing the brackets first before you move on to the next part of the equation. That's the principle behind that. M is for motivation. So motivation is the intrinsic motivators of a client or a prospective client. So remember our 2 intrinsic motivators, one is pain and one is pleasure. Okay, so people like to move away from a pain or towards a pleasure. So in this section here is your ability to be able to identify the key motivators of your prospective customers. So what's actually motivating them? Why do they want to buy, or what do they need your product or service? Okay, there's also an element of motivation, as you can remember, about your motivation as a sales professional or as a business owner. If you're not motivated as a sales professional, that loses weight in the sales process. Okay? And then value is your ability to be able to communicate the value of your business, your product and your service. Okay? So remember, it's not just about the value of the products, but it's the value of doing business with you as opposed to doing business with your competition. Okay? And making the link between that, I call it mastering the link. Okay? Mastering the link of motivation, the gap between or the connections between what motivates your customers and how your product and service can add value to those motivators or how they connect. Okay? So again, as we said, the more weight you have on this aspect, the more money or time people will be prepared to invest in your product or service. Okay? And the reason I recap this is because as we go through our 5 key or 5 real meanings for why people say that you're too expensive, you'll see where each of these key components come into place.